Do you love old cars and trucks? Join us on Bring 'em Back to Life, where we search the salvage yards and backyards of America to find that gold mine of a parts car or that restorable gem in the rough. Come with us down memory lane as we elevate the status of our salvage yards to outdoor museums of automotive history.
I've got everything. I've got 200 motorcycles.
Oh, so I think Kyle told me that you're 90 now?
Yes.
90.
Yes.
And you'll still take your motorcycles out?
Oh, yes. And wife still rides with me. She's 89.
Oh, that's wonderful.
They're trying to indiscreetly find out how old I am. So I thought we'd take it easy on them.
Deal.
So we'll get out here and I'll show you his airplane and I'll show you the Chevy and the
okay.
the Buick. So here's his airplane.
This is actually an airplane hangar with an airplane.
This was an airstrip here. He used to fly in and out of the wrecking yard.
Really?
Probably 20 years ago he flew in and out of here. So yeah, this is his Cessna. It's a 58-182. Yeah, he flew in and out of here for 20, 30 years.
And he's most of his whole life has been right here doing motorcycles, cars, whatever.
Yep.
Oh.
Luckily the body wasn't, so that's his 40 Merc that's been sitting there for quite a while.
Now, did the chassis actually get warped from heat?
Yeah, well I think he had an S10 chassis in there. He has frame for this Outback, but he was going to put later model running gear underneath it.
Modernize it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was all ready to go and it burnt.
Unfortunately, yep.
So
it happens.
Where the 57 Chevy is.
And these are all hubs from prior to 50, probably.
Yeah, a lot of Ford hubs there, like 41 to 48 Ford cars and stuff.
Right.
Oh, this is cool.
Where the carburetors are.
I guess. Lots of 4 barrels.
A lot of 1 barrel and 2 barrels on that wall over there to the right.
Now this is carburetor heaven.
Yep.
Oh. And air cleaners to go with a lot of them.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's a mountain of air cleaners right there.
And there's the 57 Chevy that belongs to my aunt. It's her high school car.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Sierra Gold. That's that color.
The tag's probably right. It probably hasn't been on the road since '79. That's the last license on it, so that's probably pretty accurate.
So it's probably pretty clean underneath too, being here.
It's a clean car. And here's the Buick that has 1,100 miles on it. It's a 56 Buick Special. He bought it with the front end damaged, and he had a front end on it.
Right.
Put the front end on it, and then parked it in here. And the license plates are actually still under the seat in the sleeve.
From 1956.
Yep. That's why the front end's different color.
This is probably an Oakland, California car.
Probably.
Yeah, do you want me to look at the
you can
VIN?
look at it.
As long as I can open the door?
Yeah, go ahead.
That flipper snapped right up. It's the original V8 car too.
You know what I saw when we walked in and saw these? It was like turtles everywhere.
Like turtles, yeah.
Turtles like
So he made a special little salvage yard for the Japanese motorcycles, huh?
Yes, he did.
No, there's early. Well, they would all be early Hondas and Yamahas.
There's a ton of them out here.
Oh my, I guess. Lots of Hondas.
Yep.
Yeah, well, they were the first ones over here, weren't they, from Japan?
I'm not too sure on that, but
The Hondas and Yamahas. Well, you know, there could be, any individual one could be a Honda Dream or, you know, some of the collector bikes.
yeah, I
but
think he has a couple Dreams inside the hangar actually.
Yep, they hope they got value. But yep, this is all motorcycles. There's the original radiator with the crank going through it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a cute little buggy at one time.
Yeah. That bus there is full of radio, early car radios.
So it's a storage room, basically.
Yep. We got a lot of storage buses and containers.
Harmony Free Will Belmont at Minnewawa.
Yeah, that's here in Fresno. It's a church in Fresno.
Oh, okay.
Belmont, Minnewawa. The last year I played was in 2009. Then I moved away after 09 to Texas to work for a professional hockey team there as an assistant equipment manager.
Cool.
So, and after that I came back and I've been here since.
You've been here since with your grandfather.
Yep.
So how many acres is this property total, do you know?
Yeah, where the cars are at, it's about 95 acres. But with this and what's across the street. My dad does farming. We have 40 acres down the street and another 30 or 40 over here. Mainly almonds. I just planted almonds and some peaches down the street. But my dad's been doing the farming for 20, 30 years, so he does that.
Now those trees that we pass on the way that are all white, are those almonds? Or
Right here, like this? The
Yeah.
white ones are,
Yeah.
those are almond trees.
They are almond trees.
And you
okay.
see how every other row is blooming and not?
Yeah.
They're two different varieties. You have to have one variety to the other because they mate each other. And then you have to have bees to pollinate them. So one's a nonpareil and one's a pareil almond. Or
yeah.
Monterey, I believe, actually.
And cherries are that way too. They're sexed,
Yep.
male and female trees.
So this is the runway we're on.
Oh!
Obviously it wasn't this cluttered when when he flew in and out of here.
Wow.
And till about 3 years ago, it was not this packed. We've been buying a lot of cars.
So he doesn't fly anymore.
No, he doesn't. I think the last time he flew was like 22 years ago here out of here.
But this is the actual runway.
This is the actual runway, yep.
That's so neat.
So I'll show you some other cars over here.
So you actually, even on these, the ones that I'm noticing, the antique stuff, you'll actually sell a half a car, huh?
Yeah, we'll cut whatever they need. El Caminos, we're selling the El Camino 4 right now out of one.
Yeah, and all the Chevelles that, for the same given era, had all the same flaws, whether they were El Caminos or what.
Oh,
I know it's muddy over here.
you don't want to run over the muffler either.
No, it's flat tire heaven out here.
Yes, flat tire heaven.
So these that you see mashed are actually not our cars. They're a bunch of Chryslers. This guy bought a bunch of Imperials, and from a place up north, there's a bunch of them here, and he rented this little corner from us. Well, we're needing the room now, so he's moving out. But he bought 300 Imperials from one guy.
Oh, they loaded them on flatbeds, so they're all crushed.
Yeah, they weren't crushed. He just crushed them because he doesn't have anywhere to put them.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, but they were worth the most for the Hemis that were in them.
They were out by the time he bought them. So, I mean, it's not like a Chevy or Ford where they're high in demand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Price Imperials we get some calls on, but nothing compared to Chevy, Ford, and Dodge stuff. So I think he, when he bought them, he was thinking there'd be a lot more in demand than they actually were.
Well, if you have a pristine one that survived from when it was manufactured, then it has value.
Yes.
You know, but you can't restore a piece of junk and get your money back.
No.
You still can on some Chevys.
Yeah?
Or like certain Mustangs, you still can.
Yeah, I'll take you on the south side here where there's a lot of older stuff. So that's a 70 Dart that someone tried to make a four-door into a convertible.
I see that.
They cut the roof off and
Yep.
tried to make a convertible out of it.
Didn't work so well.
What is that?
Jackrabbit.
The size
They're
of-
big.
Yeah.
Where'd you see it?
Just straight ahead.
Running it in front of us up the
Oh,
street.
wow.
Just about the last 5 years, we've been seeing big jackrabbits. We have a bunch of cottontails out here, but the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, we've been seeing big ones like that, and they're big for rabbits.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
A lot of Z cars.
Yeah, I got some Zs.
240s, 260s, 280s.
Yeah.
Here's a 74 Pinto. But believe it or not, Z cars are starting to. We get a lot of call on Z car parts now.
Yeah, I know.
240s are really in demand.
Yeah, they hit that era.
It's an early international truck.
Yep.
Panel truck. Or that Valiant right down there. It goes 62 maybe.
You made one?
Yeah, it was a clean car when we got it in. But on stuff like that, we make more money, you know, parting them out than we do selling them whole.
Unfortunately, yeah.
We still got like another 30 acres on the other side of the yard. I'll show you guys. And then I'll show you the motorcycles.
Okay, so if someone from New England, perfect example, wanted a 56 Chevy Fender that's not rotten, how do you ship it?
We ship them by Fastenal, which is a nut and bolt company. They have stores all over the country. And we ship it from our local Fastenal store here in Fresno to the closest local Fastenal store where they would be at. And normally a fender from here to, say, New England's about $125 to ship with Fastenal. And it's pretty reasonable time, anywhere from 5 to 7 business days if it leaves, you know, right when we ship it out.
So how many people know that Fastenal offers that to people?
I don't know. We've always used truck lines before, but they get unreliable because they don't want to deal with a $125 order compared to a whole truckload. So Fastenal they're a great tool that we use now. We just found out about 2 years ago, but they're a very, very good tool.
So in order to meet the current requirements for environmental protection, this is a special spot you use right here?
Yeah, this rack right ahead is where we put the cars and we drain all the fluids, you know, the Freon, the antifreeze, the gas, the engine oil and stuff of that sort. We do, 5 or 6 at a time. Then we put them in the masher, which we have our own masher right up here. And that's where we crush the cars.
Where do those fluids then go, Kyle?
We have to get them hauled off by a certified company, and they take them out and dispose of them.
Some can be reprocessed.
Some can, yeah. I think they reprocess some. So here's a bundle of cars right here that was just mashed. You see how small they got? 68 Wildcat.
Yeah, Wildcat convertible. It's no more.
69 Buick here.
The Wildcats have always been sought after, but they had to be coupes or convertibles, basically.
A couple Buick wagons, there's sport wagons and stuff, Oldsmobile wagons, Vista Cruiser.
Right.
So many of the newer cars have a lot of plastic in them, and I can see that there's a lot of plastic. How do you get rid of all of that? Is that another issue, trying to get rid of plastic?
Basically, when you mash the car, if it's plastic and stuff, they sort it through at the scrap yard.
Okay.
You just don't get as much value if you crush it. Late model cars aren't worth nearly as much as early Buick or Cadillac.
Right.
To say, because there's a lot more tonnage there, yeah. But they do sort it and dispose of it. How they do, I don't know, but they...
You just get less per pound.
Correct.
If all the plastic was still left in it.
Yeah, and they have crazy machines at some of those scrap yards that sort everything into pieces,
Now these trees, these are the almond trees?
These are not ours, but those are almonds, yes.
Okay. Now what will you do with all the school buses?
We'll scrap them.
You will?
Yeah.
Now those will crush also?
Those we'll have to cut up and then we'll crush them,
And
yes,
then
into
they'll crush?
pieces.
Okay. So you just purchase them basically for the metal?
For the metal, yeah, and then the engines, they have good diesel engines in them. So we'll sell some of the diesel engines and...
And then what do you do with all their interiors, with all the seats?
We pull the seats out and we actually sell the seats. A lot of people are interested in bus seats. We just sold a bunch to one gentleman.
Really?
You can see where they're piled up over there.
Oh,
And
interesting.
a lot of early cars on this back fence here.
Yeah, you've got some old coupe bodies that could be used for either restoring the old race cars from that 50s era or make into hot rods.
Yep.
Now, can you sell an old coupe like that to somebody, or what are your title requirements?
See, as far as that, Depends if we have the title on them still. We turn the titles in as soon as we get them. So most of these we can't sell complete because we've already turned the titles into DMV. We could sell any part off of them. There's some that Gramps kept the titles, you know, to sell.
Yes.
So it all depends. We'd have to run the VIN number to see what the status is of the VIN.
Well, this is where we were with all the 55, 67 Chevy
Right,
fenders.
all the way down, you can see like 5 of them.
And I can see a sign zero right in on it. There's,
That's section 8, and then the next one's 9. So like those 56 fenders, 55 and 6 fenders would be section 8, about 75 feet west and about 10 feet north is how we would inventory that fender. And they have numbers on them, so say it'd be number 056. So on our computer up front, we'll say, you know, tell our parts locator, come to section 8, 75 feet west, 10 feet north, and you should see a 56 Chevy fender number 056, and that's what he'll find. So that's how we have it set up.
all right, so here's another sign that says 004.
Yeah, and so every vehicle has a T number on it if it's been inventoried, which, you know, designate the T number means it's a complete vehicle. If it's a fender, it'll say like FEN for fender, or rear end would be REA, but all T numbers are complete cars.
There's a lot of 50s cars in that area.
Yeah, there is.
Now, one thing that's become very popular in the last probably 10 years is buying a very popular chassis like a C10 Chevy pickup and taking the cabs and bodies off and putting 40s and 50s cabs and bodies on them to modernize them with kits.
Yeah.
Can you sell a whole frame to someone that's a good frame without a title?
Yeah, the frames we don't have to sell with titles. We can sell a frame without a title.
Okay. I have a 56 Chevy custom pickup and I want to put it on a K10 four-wheel drive. And he's going to supply us with the kit to swap.
Okay.
And to give him all the credit for that show episode using his kit.
Yeah, so here's a couple older vehicles too that have been here for quite a while. 52 Ford and early Ranchero.
Yeah, that's the first one, 57, I think.
Yeah,
The Ranchero.
Early Mustang. So we're getting up to the green building here where all his early motorcycles are that I can show you.
Okay.
And then I can take you up front and
Oh, when we first drove in, we pulled in right here and I saw that Corvette.
yeah, they our address, the whole property address is 4248, so the MapQuest puts it down here, which is sometimes kind of a pain, but
Well, that's a Stingray.
some of his motorcycles. That's an old knucklehead there, and his early Sportster.
Oh, that's a sprint car. That's what your uncle was driving when he had
No,
the
this
accident?
is my other uncle Donald. That's his
Oh.
his mini sprint there, micro midget. This is his Challenger right here.
That's a early 70s, huh?
Yeah, he loves Dodges, so he's got quite a few Dodge Dodge products.
Does he still race?
No, he doesn't anymore.
There's more motorcycles.
Yeah, there's more motorcycles back there, and there's some back there. And then the hangar where we're at, he has a bunch of complete old motorcycles in there, but kind of keeps that off limits.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, can understand.
Got more motorcycles back here. Just got
I guess.
Whoa.
motorcycles everywhere back in this corner. He's got BSAs and
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
lots and lots of motorcycles around.
We just bought off the telephone.
People will call you.
Call and we'd buy.
You got to go pick it up most of the time.
Oh yeah, we'd always.
Yeah.
Well, occasionally they'd bring it in, but most of the time we bought it. My first big purchase, it was a used car lot 4 or 5 miles away that had a bunch of remnants that they kept putting in the back and putting in the back. I think I bought maybe 15 or 20, like from 41 to 50 Chevrolets from them. That was right after I started. That was my first big purchase.
Wow.
Probably $25 a piece.
Right, right. Well, it was relative, you know, for the time. Okay. And then sometimes Kyle said because of the highway being right here, you were accessible to people.
Well, we were in the garage business very heavy for the first 30 years. We got a lot of work off the highway. Cars were breaking down a lot in those years.
Right?
And they'd pull into service station, say, we'll call Turner. So we had probably three mechanics working at all times 40, 50 years ago.
And if they were not repairable fast, then
We'd probably buy them if
buy
it
'em.
wasn't feasible, yeah.
yeah, okay. Okay. Now the other question I had was Kyle showed me the crusher that you designed and built yourself.
Yes.
That was quite a contraption out there.
Well, the strange thing is, if I built a new one today, I wouldn't change anything.
And how many years ago was that built?
We built that in '73.
Uh-huh.
And heaven knows how many million ton of cars we've mashed.
You got a Chrysler 440 with a 727 in it,
Yes.
so it's dependable.
And I put that because I had a lot of access to them.
Right, right. Interesting.
And so far, I don't know how many engines or transmissions we've used, but we've never out of pocket spent any money.
Wow, that's creative.
We all put transmissions in the engines we generated.
Right? Wow. Well, it was a pleasure. It was a nice meeting you. And my wife and I enjoyed it, of course. And Kyle answered all our questions. And I'm sure there's a lot of information and that I can share with people. I mean, you're already on the map, so I'm not going to put you on the map. I'm just going to show a lot of people who don't know about you where you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Say you like old cars, say you like old trucks. If you've been looking for one and you've had no luck, well, come along with us, a trip down memory lane, on a walkabout. You'll be glad that you came. Say you like old cars, say you like old trucks. If you've been looking for one and you've had no luck, well, come along with us, a trip down memory lane, on a walkabout. You'll be glad that you came.
Okay, John, what are you doing with the straight edge there?
Alright, this straight edge is going to show us the proximity of how we're going to be flat. Now mind you, the car does curve, so you can't always go 100% flat. It does have a curve to it, but 90% of it, you normally go about 12 inches and it should be okay. If you want to observe with a camera, as you can see, the ends are bowed out, but the center's clear. What we're going to do is walk it up the side of the car. And if you look, if you watch, you'll see a gap. That's just a little bit there. That's gap because we're getting to the top of the quarter. But you mainly concentrate on the middle because the ends bow, the middle pretty much stays straight. So we're gonna move over here. Want a good gap? We'll go up. If you look at the board, you can never have it straight, but just try to bear with mine in the middle of it. As you walk up with it, just to see how far off it could be. Always remember, keep one side flat. Don't ever try to balance it because you'll be fighting it. But that looks pretty good. We're gonna come over to here, and we are gonna go down. This is where the quarter panel starts to flatten out, so the whole board will be used. But if you keep looking in the middle, eventually we're gonna see a gap. Because there's no way we're that lucky to get that perfect that first time. As we're going up, oh, alright, right here we have a little bit of a gap. Not a whole lot, but we got a little bit. Right, if you take a look right here, you'll see the number 110. You'll see a little bit of space in there. That little bit of space is where we got to fill in, and that's where we're blocking, which we'll explain later on in the video how it goes. But if you keep coming up, you can see how it flattens out. This quarter panel is actually surprisingly really straight.
Actually, that's where the big dent was that you ground out before.
Yes, yep, exactly. So like I said, straight edge isn't always the best idea, but it'll give you a rough idea of where it's going to go. Because like I said, bodywork is a very tricky and unique, and you have to have a talent to do it. Not everybody can do bodywork. And don't beat yourself up if you put Bondo off and you try to do it 5 times and all the Bondo you put on comes on and ends up on the floor. It happens. It's not easy, but it takes time. Just remember, you don't want to take off too much. You just want to take off just enough so you can try to make it flat. And that's what we're going to explain the layers and coats. Now what I'm going to do for the next coat is I'm going to take another coat of Bondo. We're going to remove the bumper, grind everything down. We're going to put some tape up. We're going to tape off this chrome. You don't ever want to hurt your stainless steel. So what we're going to do is double back tape and put tape around the edge of it. We're not going to go up here with a DA because the DA will spin and it will ruin it. So what we're going to do is hand sand around the edges. The correct way to do it is to pull it off. But we're not doing a full-blown restoration. This is to bring them back to life. We're just making a driver. So we're going to do it. It's okay to do it. It's not going to hurt. Is it going to be a $100,000 show car? No. But it's going to look nice? Yes. So we'll make it look as good as we possibly can, because there's all kinds of perfections. Even on the top here, if you look, we got a dent right here. And the car will always surprise you. But you never know what you're going to find when you start digging. But for you guys at home, hopefully we're going to have this button up for next week. We'll have a door on it. We'll weld on our 4 braces. We'll finish up the front cowl. We'll start putting this back together. So start looking like a car again.